Alright, like I said before, didn't really like the camouflage brown. It's okay, but the one time Steve and I were out, we got some photographs from a bridge, the Route 5 bridge west of Lake City, of the tracks, and I kind of took that and looked at some other ways to maybe come up with to do this. So what I did was I went out and bought several Vallejo, I believe, not Vallejo, Vallejo Model Air, meant for the airbrush. A bunch of different colors that kind of looked like they might be a good match for the kind of the faded track. Even some primer that looks pretty good. A couple other primers that were close. Found one that looks good for our concrete. This aged white. Looked like a pretty good concrete for the concrete ties, so I might use that. These are acrylics, so obviously not quite as the fumes aren't quite as bad. That's a light gray, US light gray, that looked pretty good for some of the weathering, some of the lightness on the gray ties, maybe for some of the branch lines. Also, I like this color. This looks pretty good. This is IDF, I think, Israeli Defense Force Cyanide Gray. It looked really good for some gray ties and whatnot. So I got 2 bottles of that. U.S. Air Force Brown, because I was in the Air Force. No, just because I was in the Air Force, but just because the color again looked pretty good compared to the prototype photos. Some dark earth for some darker ties. A khaki brown, which looked good as well. So we're going to try it with some of these, see what it looks like. To spray paint it, I went out and bought an Iwata Neo TRN1. It's a pistol grip airbrush with a nice good sized color cup here. So we'll use this. We'll try it with our air tank and our compressor and our regulator and whatnot. Try that to spray. This looks like a pretty good airbrush for that. So pick that up. So we'll try some of this and see how it works compared to the Rust-Oleum camouflage brown, which we're really not too happy with. So we might try it with that. I also thought about, if I was really nuts, perhaps using some of the Vallejo chipping medium. That's what a lot of the armor modelers use. You would basically spray a base coat, so to speak, say maybe a primer, or one of the gray colors or something like that. Say the cyanide gray. You'd put this on, and then let it dry. Then you put on a top coat, and then with a brush and water, you can go through and it'll actually take off the top coat, allowing the bottom coat to show through. Might be a neat effect, but for all the main line we have, there's probably no way. If I was going to do a module in a contest or something like that, where I wanted really, really super detailed and great looking track, I might try that. But I thought about it. Again, this is some of the stuff that some of the armor modelers use that looks really, really cool. And I have some of this stuff for perhaps when I do some detailing and weathering and whatnot on a rolling stock and locomotive. So we'll see more to come on that. We'll maybe try that sometime this week if we get a chance to go ahead and try painting it with the acrylic Vallejo paints. Alright, so here's one of the things we got done. We got the SUSIC Maxi-Node all finished here. Basically have all the wires run in from all the signals. Mostly those 2 runs there. The signals and the control cabinet at Eugene West run down, and then you can see where they come into the appropriate landing spots on the terminal boards. Other side, it comes from the signals and the controls up at Eugene East, and they run under there, run under here, and then down and get landed. So that's all pretty much done. So on the left there we have the DC CODs hooked up, incoming power blocks, then the card itself, and then the input-output cards. 1 input, 4 outputs. So that's all done. So now what I want to do is get it. You might notice right there I don't have the 5 volts attached, because again I mentioned that issue with some interesting things happening, and I don't know if it was related to not having the cables right there are actually for the computer. One runs back to actually the first node. This is actually the second node in the series, and then the other one runs over to the third over in below Pittsfield. And like I said, Pittsfield was one where I had problems, but that cable was never connected. At least not back to the computer. And now over in at Wallace, where I have it, it was always connected to the computer, and it never seemed to do the same thing. So I don't know if having that connected does something to the state of the outputs. I really don't know. So I figured, for now, I just leave the 5 volts off because I know it doesn't affect it, because we don't have signals yet, or we're not really doing that much with it until I get it programmed. But I'm probably going to hook that up now that I do have these cables run, and the that series of cables is all complete all the way back to the computer. Even though the computer isn't on, I don't know if just having a cable in does something. I don't see why it would, but hey, I don't know. Alright, so that's done. That was about 2 evenings worth of work to run it in. It's relatively neat. Again, not perfect, but it's good enough. It's fine for the purpose. So let's take a look at how we're going to mount some of the R12 cards for the signals. Okay, here's the first 2 that I made up. This is just going to be just a simple piece of my card there with it mounted. Some standoffs there to bring it up, just so that it's not touching the board, and then a 2 terminal strip here for the 5 volts. I kind of wish they made these with 13 positions. It would have been nice. Then just put a short across, a jumper, and you would have had one right here on the board for your common. But I can say that wouldn't be perfect for all situations, but for a lot of them it would be. In our case, we're using color light signals, 3 on the top head, 3 on the bottom head, and then 3 and 3. If you were just going, 3s, you still could put 4 signals on here, but you still need a common. Of course, it would be the same if you had a 3 and a 2 head, and another 3 head. But I haven't seen many commercially available that are, 3s, 2s, 3s, or something like that. But anyway, no big deal. We'll make it work. We'll add that. So these 2 are done for obviously Wallace East and Wallace Junction West. And I'll kind of show you if the light is okay. What I'm planning to do underneath here, let me just... So there are the signal wires. Probably can't be seen all that well. Kind of hold them against the white background there. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to mount it right there, and then hook stuff up. So I'll get these mounted up. It may take some looks for some better light underneath there, but and this board should work for several locations where I have room. Some are going to be a little more challenging just because of all the stuff under the bench work, but we'll get these 2 up and then keep forging ahead. Alright, here's how that looks mounted up. Like I said, it's got it actually did wire in the 5 volts. Didn't hook it up yet, still have to do that. So all these lovely little wires got to go in. And then these got to come up and go onto the board, but at least I got that one done. And to show a couple others as well. A little dark, but there's the other side of that, the type of the board. This is the 5 volts coming in. So that's that one. No, I didn't do this for all of them. Let's look at some where it got a little bit too tight. Alright, this is for the signal bridge at 103. Again, here's all the little teeny wires coming down. And that one I just mounted right up to right on the bench work there. And then the 5 volts taps in there. And this is the signal bridge up above. So that's the bridge there at 103. That's how it's going to set in there. So again, it's not permanently installed yet, but that's what we're going to have there for that. Like I said, some of these got really tight. And you see there I used a different type of terminal board, a European type, for the 5 volt, just because there was so little room. And also the Tomar signal that I have here does not have a lot of lead length on it. So Tomar, if you're watching, add about another foot of lead length. Although I could always extend it, but I didn't. So that's that one right there. And that is actually, if I can get this out of here without too much jostling. Oh, nope, see, I'm not going to be able to. Alright, sorry about that. So that's this end. And these Tomars here do not have a lot of lead length on them. That wasn't quite as bad up at the other end of 97. I was able to get this. So many darn wires under here. So that one, I didn't use a board. I just put it right there on the layout. And again, I did use one of the European type terminal boards for this one as well. And that is because it's a little bit narrow in here, just because of the way you can see the benchwork is there, and it's kind of low, so a little bit more of a challenge there for that one. And this here is 94. So we showed you that last time. And then this one again, I did it with see, it's hard to film some of these because of all the darn wires, but it's back there against the back wall. Don't think I'll be able to get it. Oh, there it is. So that one's all set. And eventually we'll be able to have trains run, and we'll come through this here. So these are going to be approach lit. So when the train comes into the block, they'll go on. Oh, looks like we got an eastbound coming here. Alright, a little auto rack action going on there. So I said they'll be approach lit. So that they are in real life. So that's that one. And we got the cantilever here at this one end of Pittsfield in, just to be safe, since it is so close to the aisle. I got a little bit nervous, so I put this piece of board in there just to keep it. So in case you don't, so you don't come by and whack it with your elbow. Hopefully you'll hit that as opposed to signal. If I had thought and planned a little bit better, I would have put this cantilever on this side, but you can see I'm a little bit tight in here for room, just to keep it away from the aisle, because there's really no reason that I have to do it this way. But yeah, it is what it is. So I think when I actually have the layout done, we'll have a a clear piece of plexiglass here or something, bring it up off of the fascia, and just kind of blend it in, so that just so you can't walk by and an errant elbow doesn't whack your cantilever. And then underneath, again, there's the board. 5 volts, jump right in, so everything's ready. Again, it's not wired up yet, but we're getting close. Again, up here, Eugene West. And this one was pretty simple, lots of room. Again, I just mounted it right up there on the board. And the 5 volts. And again, all the fun little wires. At least the BLMA signals give you a good amount of lead, so it makes it a little bit easier to get it done. So on this one I had to do something a little bit different. I had to run 5 volts in from over there. I just ran along. See the red wire there? I added that in to the 5 volts to bring it to the signal. There. And that might be way too dark, but this is the other side of Eugene West. There's again the 2 detail west signals, and then one other one, that's the intermodal that's over there. The 5 volts didn't have a lot of room, so I had to mount it there, and then bring the 5 volts into it for the signals, just because there wasn't room in there with everything else. But that one is getting close. So this one here at Eugene East is done as well. similar arrangement, just put it there to 5 volts. Marked it, ready to go for all the signals and everything. So, but whoa! So that one's done. Ready to go. And then that just leaves. Here's we do a little drone video. This is my new drone I just bought. Flying it here in HO scale. So that leaves the signal bridge, which will not be fun just because there's so much going on underneath the layout right here. But we'll figure it out. We'll get her done. So that's I'll take a quick look under there, but I'm not sure how well it'll be. It might be too dark, but we'll take a quick look. Yeah, so here I am laying on my back, and the leads from the people are probably hard to see, but those 2 holes right there, these are 2 of the leads. You see them up there, and the other 2 holes on this side are the other 4 leads that come out there. So again, I'm thinking I got to get a board in there somewhere. So again, I might have to put it right up in here or something like that. Which will be a real pain because you have to hang underneath, and you can see it's all pretty darn crowded under here. You just start getting your stuff done and wired, but we'll get it figured out. We'll get it in there somewhere. Like I said, it's not going to be too fun, but I don't have a whole lot of room to put it in the other places, so I might have to go up against on the bottom of the layout there, but we shall see. Alright, that's really pretty much what we got done this week. Finishing up the that Maxi-Node and getting some of the signals, at least get some of the boards mounted. One of the things Steve and I did today, since it was so nice out, went out and got some actual prototype photos and just see some trains running. And we were actually over in Lake City trying to figure out what we might want to do. This is actually Lake City, obviously a much smaller scale, and the real thing. We're trying to figure out how we want to do this. The issue we have is obviously having a good continuity from here down to Wallace Junction. There is a restaurant that we ate at the old Lakeshore, Michigan Southern Railroad Station that we would like to put roughly something about like that, where those 2 are. But you can see that doesn't leave a lot of room. We do want to have a road here, a road crossing, and it's going to make a sharp right, because that's the way it actually is. It's Route 18. Comes across the tracks, the CSX tracks in Lake City. Actually does have a siding somewhat like this. It does come off here. It does cross the road at the same point. It does then run up to some abandoned industries, but we're actually going to put an industry of some type up there just to give us something to do for the model railroad. And then we added this, which will come up on this side. It might go to an industry here that I actually think is pretty cool. We might model. It's actually in Lake City, right across from the station, the diner, which is now those 2 plastic bins. Then we're thinking of maybe extending, actually making this part of the layout come out some more, not for more track, but for more scenery. The aisles are pretty nice, and we're thinking about it. We might want to perhaps extend it from here, perhaps, and this actually is going to have a piece come across. We were planning to do that. Let me step back here. There's going to be, an angle piece going across there, but maybe bringing it out even a little bit more, losing some aisle space. Understand that, but since it's mostly only Steve and I, we could probably bring it out a little bit more. Still be able to reach, because you want to be able to reach into things, obviously, so you don't want to get too much farther out, but have a way to add a little bit more actual modeling town of Lake City. So we can't go too terribly far, again, just because of the fact that you want to be able to reach into the detail and whatnot, because if I stand where I am right now, I can reach all the way over pretty much to here, and I'm not the tallest guy in the world, so we gotta be careful. But we could come out a little bit more and give us some more room than the scenic. Maybe have some more buildings, and because we like the detailing, we like the scenery and whatnot. So that's probably what we're gonna do here. Again, not more track, just some more model of the town itself here in Lake City. So, and then we've been debating if we want to actually add a tunnel over here. We're kind of anti-tunnel, but again, some poor planning. The way this is, it's so darn close to the backdrop there. I don't know if I can effectively make that look good. So maybe some type of rolling hill, a slight tunnel. Not that that never happens. I know I think the Harrisburg line or the Pittsburgh line from Harrisburg out toward Altoona, there's a tunnel in there. I mean, we could probably blend it in a little bit. And then maybe even, I don't know if we want to actually bring the branch line at some point into a tunnel, just to give us some more scenery, to scenic some more back in there. So, because the way it is now, it is kind of, you can see it's kind of depressed there. So we're not sure yet, but again, we're getting to the point where we're going to start doing the scenery. So we're going to have to make some decisions about what we're going to do. We would like to get the signals in, at least working. Make sure they work okay, then probably take them back out for some more detailing, because a lot of these need a lot more detail in terms of this. Actually, the base isn't actually like this, the real one. It's a big square, big rectangular piece of concrete, so there's some work to do on some of these and whatnot, but so they're in there now more just to be able to mount the appropriate resistor boards and get ready for them. So some more to come. That's the update for this week. We'll keep working. We did get a bunch of scenery stuff in. I want to organize it a little bit, and then maybe we'll have one of those scenery ones, because I did get some stuff in from Europe, like I said, and I'm working with Scenic Express to maybe special order some stuff from Miniature. So more to come on that. So that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. A little bit of train running this time, and we'll be back. We'll be back next week. Back my drone.